Whoa, Nelly! Outta Timers bonus episode, not on the channel, coming through on the Talking Joe channel. That's right, people. This is a spin-off from Outta Timers. It is involving Talking Joe crew members. Who knows what's going on? It's a crazy mashup of people, things, and places. This was supposed to be myself and the Ben TK421 Flying Retro. We're going to discuss our year in movies. If you were listening to the Outta Timers podcast, the greatest podcast that no one ever's listened to, or I mentioned it on the Talking Joe channel, you'll know that me and Ben set out in the year of 2020, that famous feel-good year, to watch 200 movies in a calendar year. No repeats allowed. So my mate said, I've watched that easy. I've watched Frozen 2 200 times with my daughter. I said, doesn't count. That only counts as once. You've watched one movie this year. So what happened? Where did we get to? Unfortunately, Ben wasn't available to do the recording. I've drafted in a couple of people off the streets who are going to have some input. So name yourselves.
You're listening to the Outta Timers, and here are your hosts, Mark and S-Jubb7. Hello, fellas.
That's right. We got someone in the studio who is going to weigh in with some valid opinions because he's a thesp. This man has treaded the board, so he knows what he's talking about when we're talking about acting. The man's got the chops. It is, of course, S-Jubb7. And sitting alongside him, we have got
the man with the invalid opinions.
The regular Talking Joe. Front man is Mark Funky Bunch S-Jubb7. So welcome, boys. Happy to have you. Yes, it was a year in movies. I don't know if you recorded personally how many movies you were watching, but Ben got to 250, so he smashed that 200. I was well on course to do 200. When Outta Timers folded and collapsed into the sea, my movie watching fell off a cliff as well. So I stepped it up in, I think, September, October. My chart started skyrocketing. And in fact, I did not get to 200, though. It got to New Year's Eve, 2 movies to watch, easily doable, but failed in that task. And I made the decision actively not to watch those 2 movies because I thought I will not be beholden to this stupid challenge and let this challenge beat me. So I figured by not watching those last 2 movies, I won.
Well, it was nail-biting stuff either way, Chief. And for my own part, your competition with Ben was the sole reason why I joined the ranks of Letterboxd. And it's been a useful app, I must say. It's it's great to, and I've not only been charting my cinema watching, but also I can't help myself. I have to record my thoughts on each film that I digest. Like I write many reviews.
Yeah, and I've read some of them. I read your last few you did on American Ninjas.
Mate, they're going to be cringeworthy, but it's fascinating to like just freeze frame your opinions on cinema at a certain point in your life. Like hopefully the internet will exist 20 years from now, and hopefully Letterboxd will still be in existence, and we'll be able to go back to these things and be like, wow, I thought that back then. Shit.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was all about. When Ben was like, oh, we've got to log these, I was like, who wants to go online and on this app and log your movies? But actually, it's really cool. As soon as you watch it, pop it on there, quick view, you can see other people's movies, which is cool. I like watching, to see what your friends have been up to. And I see S-Jubb7 giving 1 stars out to all these movies, and, Funky Bunch giving his standard 3s, etc. But no, it's good. It's good. And so this is where this challenge was born on Letterboxd. I'm just going to my sheet. I have got all 198 movies that I watched on this sheet, and you boys have got this as well. So I'm going to pick out a few highlights, lowlights, etc. You boys can try and convince me on movies where I rank them wrong. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the top 10. My top 5-star movies I ranked. Actually, let's break it down some stats. We like to go into numbers. So I ranked 18 movies 5 stars out of 198, which was actually 9% of all my movies. As a comparison, Ben only ranked 8% of his movies 5 stars. So I was the higher marker. Most of my scores came in the 3s and 2.5 category. So I was very middle of the road-ish compared to him. But anyway, looking at my top 10, and I'll read them out to you. Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Rocky, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Die Hard, Back to the Future, Temple of Doom, Batman, Back to the Future Part 3. Now, there are a couple of omissions here, and that is I did not watch Jaws and Ghostbusters in the year 2020. Shame on Chief. And when I do watch those coming up, they will slot into that top 10, which means Batman and Back to the Future will drop out. And I think that is probably my top 10 movies. There won't be anything missing from that list, I don't think. Anything surprising from that top 10 for you guys?
Back to the Future Part 3, their ranking ahead of Part 2 was a bit of a surprise.
Okay.
You can't be here! It doesn't make sense for you to be here! I refuse to believe that you are here!
Doc, I am here, and it does make sense. Look, I came back to 1955 again with you, the you from 1985, because we had to get a book from Biff. So once I got the books back, that is the you from 1985, we're in the DeLorean, and it got struck by lightning, and you got sent back to 1885.
1885!
I think I had number 2 as a 3.5 star or a 4 star, maybe.
Further down the list for sure. Yeah.
I think for me, it didn't do. Difficult to say it didn't do anything new, which is what I was going to say, because obviously it does. But I feel like we've seen it all before in the previous movies, and that was kind of the point of number 2, I guess, where he's going back and seeing himself in 1955. The best bits are by far the bits in the alternate future where, Biff is watching Clint Eastwood movies in a jacuzzi hot tub with a couple of ladies. Just that's absolutely genius. And, he has the to-do with Marty and that kind of stuff. But the rest, I don't know. Good, great movie. Great, don't get me wrong. But on reflection, I thought 3 was just a complete non-stop roller coaster. And whereas as a kid, I probably didn't like 3. Now as an adult, I liked it more.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Of the other 2 trilogies, Chief, you've been on record saying that in terms of Star Wars films,
yes,
very much of the opinion that whatever you're watching currently kind of rises to the top,
yes,
and really buzzes your berries. Is that true, or do you have a definitive ranking? Do you stand by your top 10?
I have put them in here as the order of release, episode 4, 5, 6, and that is what was the order I watched them in this year, though. That's a good question. I need to go and check the diary to see if that's kind of a backwards order. I think it is. No, I think I watched Empire first this year, then Return, then New Hope. But yeah, it can be very much so. Same as Ben, whichever one of those 3 we watch at the time can catapult itself to the top. However, on reflection, I think New Hope is definitely my favourite, and then the other 2 can alternate on that number 2 spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other Holy Trinity, the indie films, is there any scope for those to shuffle? Or do you think it's pretty definitively ranked?
Possibly. I would have had Temple of Doom. This is a surprise to me that it made it into the top 10, because I previously would have had it maybe top 30, but it crept in at number 8. And obviously when Jaws and Ghostbusters slide in there, it will fall to number 10, but still a top 10. And I hadn't forecast that. And the other one is Crusade, which I probably would have had top 50. That's at 17. So that again surprised me how enjoyable that was. But, the other surprising one is, so, you've got 3 Star Wars movies in the top 3. You've got 3 Indiana Jones movies in the top 17. The other surprising thing was I had 4 Rocky movies in the top 21. It's ridiculous. If you'd have asked me that before ranking them, I would have said these are great movies, but
fans of Outta Timers know exactly how hard you and Ben go on the Rocky saga.
Yeah,
you guys want to jump up and down and do some shadow boxing and stuff.
What other movies?
Get pumped, man!
I can't think of any other movies that gets me out of my chair cheering at the screen. And if that's no one's going to accuse these, apart from the first one, which deserved the awards, and Stallone, as I went on a 5-minute ramble on a Talking Joe episode, I think, about anyone who hasn't seen Rocky recently should go back and watch it and watch that masterclass of a character study that Stallone manages to bring to the screen, which is against type of 95% of his other movies, where he's just pretty much awful in. But no one's going to accuse those other movies of being Academy Award winners or the greatest movies of all time. But from a emotional standpoint, they just get to me. I think a lot of that is nostalgia, but they're worthy of your time, I think, still. But the first one is just incredible for me. Other one I wanted to put out as a comment was, and S-Jubbs will know where I'm coming from here, is Animal Olympics, coming in at number 11, 1980, the greatest animated movie of all time.
You gotta go for it against the opposition.
Now, I reckon 5% of listeners of this episode will have seen that movie.
Yeah, I think
If
you know,
that's
a lot of people wouldn't have heard of that film, let alone stick it in their top 20.
Yeah. Now, have you seen
it's
it?
very
Mark?
much. It's very much its own
I don't
thing,
think
isn't
I've
it?
ever seen it.
No,
What platform can you watch it on?
I've got it on DVD. I don't know if it
Okay.
is streamable somewhere. I had it on VHS, but I fear that this one is very much of its time. And if you didn't watch it as a kid, watching it now as an adult, I don't feel it would, grab you by the cojones and shake you around too much. Similar to The Princess Bride, which I have at number 12. Ben had never seen this movie up until a month ago.
Inconceivable.
And which was amazing to me. And when he watched it, I think he gave it 3 stars or 3.5. And he was very much of the opinion, I can see what it's doing. I see it is a good movie. But he felt that, because he didn't watch it as a kid, it didn't have that impact on him.
Yeah. Thomas got on The Princess Bride about, I don't know, maybe a year ago. And he watched it about once a day for the best part of 2 weeks.
Okay. Wow.
Really enjoyed it.
Good. I like that. Good.
It's a good film.
Good parenting.
Look, never underestimate the power of nostalgia goggles. I mean, Chief, I have very scattered memories of Animal Olympics because I had it on like a scratchy VHS back in the day.
Yeah.
But when I watched it at your behest again, you can't help but feel this kind of resonance with it. It just transforms or transports you back to a much earlier time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it, buddy. It's very much of its time, and you either had it in your life as a child or you didn't.
Yeah.
And you, as a kind of a sports fan / animation fan / the comedy, the kind of the quirkiness of it, it's very you.
Yeah. And also, let's not say that I don't want to have to defend nostalgia. That's not a bad thing. Just because it's ranked high because of nostalgia, you shouldn't have to defend that. That's cool. That's good. There's absolutely nothing wrong with liking something for sentimental or nostalgic reasons. So,
but Chief, should we get to why everyone's actually here? They don't want to hear praise of objectively cult and good films.
Sure.
That
I want
everybody
to
loves,
hear
yeah.
you ream some movies a new one. Come on, buddy.
Do they? Okay.
Come on. Well, I know I do. I represent the audience once again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What I suppose, is it a case of you're trying to convince me that I have ranked movies too low, or well, very quickly, I'll go through some of the my surprises for me. Top Gun, I had at number 27. If you had have said prior, I'd said it's a Joe average mediocre movie. Watched it, loved it, 4 stars. Into the Spider-Verse, I am not a fan of Spider-Man, the character, at all. I would say this is the greatest Spider-Man movie ever. I put it at number 31 on my list.
Yeah,
and
surprise high from you, surprise low from me. I think.
Oh, really?
It should be higher. Yeah.
Oh, right.
What a
You
great
think
film.
31 is not high enough?
Mind you, that's 4.5 stars out of 5.
Yeah,
Is
4.5
still
stars,
a heck of a.
I put G.I. Joe in at number 37. Again, we discussed this obviously at length on the Talking Joe episode 100, but I went in thinking this is going to be a 2-star movie. Give it 4 stars. What a great movie that is, just because of the wackiness. And also, we won't go into this too deep because I know S-Jubbs is most definitely not a fan, but I put Revenge of the Sith as a 3.5 star in the 64th place on my list. I would have gone in, it was a 2-star movie prior, but having watched all those Clone Wars animated episodes, it's given me a bigger love for that era, and surprisingly, it ranked quite high. Surprising lows, here we go then. Terminator 2, I think I gave 3.5 stars, and Ben was immediately, as soon as he saw that pop up on Letterboxd, he video called me basically saying, "You absolute dickhead, what are you doing? This is 5 stars. How can that be a 3.5-star movie?"
Doesn't it grab you by the short and curlies when you hear the underscoring while Arnie's on the chopper with his Winchester shotgun and he's smashing through those gates on that like sluiceway?
Oh yes. And
To rescue John on the bike when he's being chased. Like, doesn't it make the hairs stand up on the back of your head?
yeah, it's a great scene, that most definitely, and Arnie is just you know, he is chewing up scenery like he's on a mission. But this is a reverse nostalgia thing for me. It was like, as a, you know, up until I probably haven't seen this movie, I would say, for 15 years prior to watching it last year.
Right.
And I would have said, yes, this is a 5-star movie. It's incredible. But I didn't have the nostalgic pangs for it when I watched it a few months ago. I don't know what it is. Maybe this is what I should be doing. When you write your little 2-paragraph reviews, I should have spewed my thoughts out into the Letterboxd review bit, and then at least I could have brought that to the party here and explained why, because I'm struggling to. Now I'm thinking, wait a minute, maybe I did mark this too low. Maybe it should have been better.
T2 is really having a lot of fun with itself. You know, if you watch them back as an adult, Terminator is a groundbreaking horror / sci-fi slasher movie. It's
3 stars from Chief. I got a lot of grief on that one as well.
For the Terminator. Okay, well, fair enough. But I mean, T2 is, there are a lot of instances where it's winking at the audience. It's like, yeah, we know you're going to love this. It plays ZZ Top's Bad to the Bone.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just, the film is absolutely having fun with itself, and you're certainly, as an audience member, going to eat a lot of popcorn to T2.
So, yeah, it felt overly long. That definitely felt overly long.
Well, did you watch the recut, sort of the James Cameron redux, where they inserted all those extraneous, stupid extra scenes of Arnold like practicing his smile? I mean, there are reasons why films get cut down, and this is a bone I have to pick with both of the Outta Timers, that you guys like the extended version of Aliens,
right? Yeah,
the theatrical release. Okay.
You're not down with that?
Well, I just think it's incredible how the theatrical release didn't really lose anything and make such massive cuts. Yeah. You know, the smart gun section and the whole section on LV, whatever. No, the colony, whatever. I'm blanking on the name, but you know what I mean.
What's going on?
They're coming.
Where?
In the tunnel.
Those ammo counters go.
B gun's down 50%.
Man, it's a shooting gallery down there.
60 rounds left on B. 40. 20. 10. B gun's dry. 20 on A. 10. 5.
That's it.
Yeah, all those sequences that kind of build up Newt's backstory and her family life and all that stuff. It's stuff that they spent weeks shooting, and I'm sure it was like James Cameron had to basically kill his darlings in the edit bay to get rid of all that stuff. But the film holds together so perfectly well and comes in at a much shorter runtime.
Yeah, I think Ben was definitely more into the special edition extended one than I was. I'm happy to watch either or, and I'll probably watch the shorter one if out of giving a preference, just because I don't particularly like overlong movies. But yeah, all right, let's carry on.
Rewinding it a bit, I've got a list of underrated films, and I've got Terminator there. So we talked about that coming in at 3 stars. But next to Terminator with 3 stars is Terminator 3. So there's some sort of parity there between Terminator and Terminator 3.
I just thought it was more fun. I thought Terminator is just a bit too slow and boring for me. 3 stars. Look, I'll reiterate, if you're not aware, 2.5 stars from the Chief is a non-regretful watch. So that is not, most people will say 2.5 is middle of the road or poor, but for Chief, no, 2.5 is I did not regret watching that. That's an okay movie. So 3 stars is
bring
is
down Terminator, the original Terminator, elevate Terminator 3, and they're sort of meeting sort of somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, okay. Coming to America, 3 stars, 86th place on the list. Ridiculous. Why is that not a 5-star movie? 3 stars from the Chief. I think again, what did I struggle with this on? It felt like Murphy was just doing as many skits or scenes as he could, and those bits in the barber shop are literally some of the greatest moments in comedy cinema history. Absolutely incredible.
Pound for pound, Sugar Ray Robinson, the greatest fighter ever lived.
Oh, come on, man. What about Joe Louis?
The Brown Bomber. Now that was a great boxer.
You damn right.
I suppose nobody in here ever heard of Cassius Clay.
You got a point. Cassius Clay was a bad motherfucker.
Hey, I ain't saying Clay ain't bad. I'm just saying I stopped liking Cassius Clay once he changed his name to Muhammad Ali. What kind of shit is that?
Wait a second. Wait a second. A man has the right to change his name to whatever he wants to change it to. And if a man wants to be called Muhammad Ali, God damn it, this is a free country. You should respect his wishes and call the man Muhammad Ali.
His mama named him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I say Clay.
Get out of here.
That's right. That's right. He gonna always be Clay to me. I don't give a fuck what he changed name to. He is Clay. He Clay to me. I say Clay.
Well, then you're a putz. The three of you. Three putzes. You should change the name outside from Mighty Sharp to the Three Putzes.
The preacher on stage introducing. Oh no, it's Arsenio Hall's the preacher, and he's introducing Mr. Randy. Is it Randy? What Randy Watson and Sexual Chocolate. That whole bit is just incredible. The two guys from Trading Places, Randolph and Mortimer. That's brilliant. But overall, the story didn't really grab me, and there's too many scenes that I don't know didn't work. So I stand by my 3 stars on that, which is surprising. What else have we got?
Same plateau as Terminator.
On the same plateau as Terminator, yeah. Gremlins, 105th on the list, 3 stars. Again, hadn't seen this probably for 25 years, I reckon. Ben watches it 2 or 3 times a year. He's got Phoenix into watching it. He went to the cinema last year to watch it, and I think he gave it 4.5 or 4 stars. But I don't know. Again, a bit slow, and just I found it not that funny or not that.
No nostalgia
compelling.
goggles for you on that one.
No
Chief.
nostalgia goggles for that. I don't. Well, here's the other thing. I don't remember watching it that much as a kid. It wasn't one of the VHSs that just got rinse repeated. So maybe there's that.
Where's Lethal Weapon standing in your list?
Lethal Weapon is
somewhere in the middle.
Number 16.
Okay, still pretty high. Great.
Yeah,
You know
had
that
You watched that on a plane and ranked it quite low, I think.
I fear I was on the rebound from hearing you and Ben rave about it so much. It was the first time I caught it, and I guess I just wasn't in the frame of mind for it.
Yeah, I've got Lethal Weapon 2 in at number 35 as well, 4 stars. But
with the South Africans, eh?
Yeah.
Bad guys of the world in the 80s.
That's it.
Diplomatic immunity.
Space Jam, love
Very
cartoons, love basketball. I give this 2 stars. Just I went in thinking this is going to be a good old fun romp. Bill Murray's in it, 2 stars. Not good movie at all. And
I don't know if people think if it's got a reputation as being a big movie.
No, but I thought I don't care. As is generally known, I don't care what other people think. So the only opinion that matters is Chiefs. So if I say
aren't they doing a sequel this year?
Yeah,
man.
Are they? Okay.
They're doing a sequel
so.
to Coming to America.
Yeah,
and Lethal Weapon. Apparently Richard Donner is going to direct. I mean, at the ripe old age of like 90.
Yeah. And Young Guns 3.
All right.
The Mask, 1 star. It's the second worst movie I saw last year.
Smoking.
Oh man.
I'd never seen it before. First time
I need to rewatch this. And
I'm not particularly a Jim Carrey fan. I've never read any of the comics. I know Mark is a big Mask comic fan. I couldn't handle it. I struggled to get through it. I like wacky and zany, but this was just different kettle of fish.
I've got to get to the front door.
You go to the front door.
Going out a second.
I think the mothership is coming with some dogs.
Ooh, woof woof! Milo. I haven't seen The Mask in ages, Chief. But man, I'd be very devastated if it doesn't hold up for me because it's Carrey getting licensed to do what he does best. I mean, actually putting on a persona that allows for his wackiness. Whereas, in other films that are just big Jim Carrey vehicles like the Ace Ventura series and Dumb and Dumber and fucking Batman Forever, that stuff, he's kind of intruding into a more realistic world. Whereas The Mask, hey, man, no, it couldn't save it for you.
No.
And Cameron Diaz smoking up the scene.
Yeah, smoking. But, no. I watched a movie from 1952, and that is Singing in the Rain. And what a 4 stars! What a movie that is. Dance set pieces are incredible. It's just,
Gene.
Gene is just it's on fire.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
Were you at all surprised as to what the content of Singing in the Rain actually is? You know, dealing with the silent film era?
Not.
Or did you know?
Well, I've watched it. That's probably the third or fourth time I've seen it. So,
Okay.
but going into it the first time round, no. All I knew is when I
The scene.
when I maybe I watched it for the first time 5 or 6 years ago, and I thought, okay, fine, this is that movie about a guy who's dancing in the rain. But I have absolutely nothing to go on in terms of the content. But like you said, you know, the death of the silent movie and the the big companies bringing out these talkies, and I thought actually there is some good plot and story to back up those fantastic dance sequences.
Wonderful, man. For a guy who's never been to see a live musical theater show, Chief, I think you might actually have a good time.
Okay.
One day when the West End is back in full swing.
Right.
Touch wood.
Yeah.
One day more.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of live events,
yes.
did you go to the cinema in 2020, Chief, or any of your count coming from actual cinematic viewings?
Yes. So when I went in the summer to Bournemouth on a holiday, I went all 3 nights I was there. I went to see Empire Strikes Back, then Empire Strikes Back, then Batman.
Nothing beats it, eh?
Anything else I saw in 2020 at the cinema? I don't think so, no.
Do you have a position on home theater setups versus going to the cinema? Like, is there still some magic in going to a public space, having a big old screen?
I only like going to the cinema if there are 10 or less people in the cinema, and I will only go in a midweek daytime slot. I will never go to the cinema in the evening. Well, I say never. I have done, if that's the only option. But I like going midweek, daytime. Not many people in the cinema.
Come on, Chief!
I hate these bastards who are chomping their popcorn, looking at their phones, talking to each other. Oh, I can't handle it.
But dialing the clocks back just a few years, you were considering going to a Arnold Schwarzenegger marathon event.
No.
That's where the freaks come out, brother. You would have been swamped by the sweaty masses of like Arnie fans. You were seriously considering it?
No, talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. It was for the crowd. Yeah. I was never going to go.
Were you not one of those midnight screening episode 1 types with his prop lightsaber and his Jedi robe?
Well, I used to work at Odeon Cinema, and that was around between probably 99 and 2002, and so we saw 2 of those. It's probably a bit later actually. So we saw definitely episode 2 and 3 where I was working on the midnight shift, and like you say, the freakazoids really come out at that time of night.
But you said that the juice isn't worth the squeeze anymore. Like you would not brave the crowds, even to just feel that kind of sense of mass euphoria. No? Oh, that's a shame.
Not for me.
Come on.
Interesting point of fact, I have not watched one movie in the year 2021. 23 days in. I said to Mark, my target is 50 or less movies this year. So,
and have you checked on your mate Ben? Has he consumed any cinema?
I looked, not cinema, no, but I think he's only watched 4 movies this year. So he is. He said I broke him and I destroyed most of his hobbies in 2020. So he said I ruined movies for him.
That's what friends are for.
And what I have been doing though is, although I haven't watched any movies, and I think I'm going to get under 20 this year. So that's my target now. I'm shifting the goalpost to try and watch under 20.
Wow.
What I have done is I've been consuming TV series, which is not something I am a fan of generally. So I finished out, as you'll have heard, I finished out Rebels, I finished out Mandalorian, then I watched season 1 of Transformers War for Cybertron, season 1.
Cybertron is in ruins. I fear war is lost. Optimus, at this moment we must focus on surviving as a race, not winning a war.
Yet again, the Autobots have escalated this conflict to the point where we must answer their aggression with force. I empower you Decepticons, to bring this painful chapter of our history to a close.
What do you think of that?
I thought at first I wasn't sure on the animation. I think the look of it is the best looking Transformers visual media I've ever seen. From the cell shaded art style, I think it looks better than anything Transformers has ever done. I think the budget went on that because the backgrounds were very minimal and it didn't feel populated or industrious, the surroundings, or technologically the buildings weren't, that backdrop scene wasn't quite up to snuff. I thought it was a very slow burn story. I liked the story. I thought they did a good job, not heavy on the action. So I'm probably looking at 3.5, 4 maybe stars as a whole. And I didn't realise there was a second season, which I know 6 episodes, which is nice. I like that short burn. So I'm going to go into season 2. Then I started watching Parks and Recreation from series 1. Going to do a rewatch of all that. I'm about 5 episodes in. Nice 20-minute bites. Perfect. And then viewers at home, you will not be able to see this, but I'm going to hold this up. I got a 15 box set. Shit, the bed, which is all falling
onto the floor.
Onto the floor.
I couldn't tell what that was before it fell. Okay,
no.
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap.
Theorizing that one could time travel within his own lifetime, Dr. Sam Beckett stepped into the Quantum Leap accelerator and vanished. He awoke to find himself trapped in the past, facing mirror images that were not his own, and driven by an unknown force to change history for the better. His only guide on this journey is Al, an observer from his own time, who appears in the form of a hologram that only Sam can see and hear. And so Dr. Beckett finds himself leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong, and hoping each time that his next leap will be the leap home.
15 DVDs, 100-odd episodes of Quantum Leap. So I'm 5 episodes in, and holy moly, this is incredible. All right, so Scott Bakula, give this man every kind of Emmy, or no, not Emmys. What do they give for actors?
Emmys.
Is it Emmys? I thought Emmys is music. No, Grammys. Yeah, Emmys. Give this man all the Emmys in the book for past work because he is incredible as whatever his name, Sam Beckett.
Dr. Sam Beckett.
Jeez. So I'm doing that.
The premise get pretty old over 100+ episodes.
Well, we'll find out. I've got a lot of nostalgia from this as a kid. So will it get old?
Anything really super up to date, gentlemen? Has anyone tucked into WandaVision just yet?
Yeah, I'm watching
Zero interest.
WandaVision. Yeah, interesting. Very different. I'm a fan of different and trying to do, follow a different furrow, even maybe if it isn't completely successful. Just doing the same thing over and over gets boring quickly. So yeah.
Well, we live in interesting times where there's enough confidence in the superhero genre to launch a project this
out there.
Offbeat. Yeah. No,
is that one a week scenario, or is that have they released all the episodes?
I think they dropped the 2 in one go, and then it's one a week.
Yeah, and it's Chief. It's unlike anything, or at least the start of it is unlike anything you're typically led to expect from Marvel Cinematic.
Is it? You won't have read it, S-Jubbs, but Mark, have you read the Tom King?
I've not yet. No, it's in the.
Okay, so I've read that, and it's good, and this looks like it might be based on that. So.
Yeah, I think that's where it's getting its most of its inspiration from. But the first episode plays out in black and white, like a sort of forgotten 50s sitcom, like Bewitched.
Okay.
It's just like you're just constantly on the back foot, thinking, "What is going on here?" And there's some sort of, a bit of a kind of a murky thing going on in the back of the story as well, where it's all a bit. Things are out of kilter and not right kind of thing. So
it sounds interesting. I imagine that's going to have one of 2 effects. The potential intellectuals or those open to different are going to embrace that and say this is cool, and then Joe Public idiot is going to say this is not what I signed on for. Where's the superheroes
fightings and explosions,
smashing up bad guys, and they're just going to not bother watching anymore.
Yeah. Look, the whole series and its experimental nature will be justified in every Marvelite's eyes if it changes the game in a very universe-altering way, in a substantial way. Like, if Wanda, through her kind of universe-bending powers, is able to suddenly wink the X-Men into this Marvel Cinematic Universe, something like that they've always been there.
Right.
Something, if this series has a massive bombshell like that, then it will all be made worthwhile.
Yeah.
But I might be setting the bar too high there.
But yeah, I think we live in a golden age of TV content, particularly with all of the stuff that's being commissioned for the likes of Netflix. We're just spoiled for content. There's so much, and I've got a list of really
you never have
good
to watch
stuff.
a film ever again. Chief.
Yeah, there's all of these amazing things that are made that you literally don't even have time to watch because there's just so much of it. I think we're spoiled. I really enjoyed Queen's Gambit. I really enjoyed Serpents on, I think that's BBC. Got the next season of Dark Materials to watch.
Cobra Kai!
I've started getting into Cobra Kai. I binge watched Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3, and now I've started on Cobra Kai, so enjoying that. So yeah, there's just so much to choose from. It's good times.
Chief, I've detected an anomaly in your film list. The Matrix, 2.5 stars. Which puts it in the same ballpark as Street Fighter, the movie, which is charming for a turkey, but is a cinematic turkey nonetheless. Whereas The Matrix changed the game, man. We are still living in its wake.
Yes.
And Matrix Reloaded are just ever so slightly rated higher. 141 versus Matrix at 145.
Yeah.
God, Chief.
2.5 stars.
I'm never, ever going to watch any of those 3 movies again. Ever. Same with Ready Player One. I know I said I'd watch Ready Player One 6 months later, but I've got no interest in watching that. It's junk. Well, no, it's not junk because I gave it 2.5, which means it's not junk. But I don't know.
Ben, where are you, my friend? Why are you not defending your favorite film?
I was not big on The Matrix when I saw it in the cinema. I came out just being extremely annoyed with Lawrence Fishburne's character of just refusing to answer any question and answering questions with questions, and that just put it on the back foot straight away.
Oof.
So,
okay. I think I was old enough to be aware of the marketing campaign surrounding it and how mysterious that was, and how, in an age before we knew what spoilers were, it had not been spoiled for me. The reveal was still fresh. It was a legitimate reveal.
Yes. Have you seen? A lot of people say. I think I might have seen it. But have you seen Darkman, which people say is basically this Matrix ripping off Darkman? I think that's fanboy cultists who want to believe that Darkman's better when it probably isn't. But I don't know. I don't think I've seen it.
I think I played the Nintendo video game, but
I think I might have played the Amiga adaptation of the film on.
Right,
but I watched it a long time ago, and I think it was early Sam Raimi, and I don't remember it being very good at all.
No, okay, all right.
But I know that there's some affection for it, but I doubt that stands up very well.
Anything that you found to discuss on my list, Funky Bunch?
I've got some overrated and some underrated. So overrated.
I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Overrated. Hellboy 2019.
Yeah,
which I watched and thought was junk.
Okay, 4 stars from the Chief. 36th best movie I've seen. The lead guy is miles better than Ron Perlman as Hellboy. And he's the guy out of, I don't watch it, but I think he's the guy out of Stranger Things, isn't he?
That's right, yeah. Stranger Things sheriff.
Maybe a little bit too violent. I'm not massive on excessive violence, and it is quite a violent movie. However, I thought all the comedy beats hit. I love that it was wholly adapted from actual Mike Mignola Hellboy stories.
The Wild Hunt series.
Yeah, Wild Hunt, and a few others as well. It mixes quite a lot of Hellboy stories into one movie.
What struck me about that is the look of the film just looked very basic. It looked very televisual, pared down, not really very cinematic or rich or atmospheric. And I thought the writing and a lot of the acting fell quite flat, and there was a lot of swearing in there, which just seemed like children playing up and thinking that if you throw in a few swear words, then it makes it an adult film, which is actually what the Harley Quinn film did as well.
Listen, I take all of your incorrect points on board and put them in a cupboard. So next.
Next was Tron Legacy. I've not seen it, so I can't really compare it to what I thought, but it struck me as being very well scored.
Yes,
that film did not deserve a score that good. It did not earn its score.
That is one of a few I've picked out that I'm looking at. I'm thinking, okay, fine. Let's Smokey and the Bandit. I gave 3 stars. That probably should have been higher. Ghostbusters 2, 4.5 stars. I'm thinking that might have been a 4-star, not a 4.5. And Tron Legacy is another one that did jump out to me. 4 stars. That feels very high. Friend of the show, one of my former podcast co-hosts on Three Stooges Wrestling podcast, Faceman Dave. He messaged me yesterday saying he has started watching the Tron Legacy show on Netflix. I think it came out a couple of years ago, the animated show. Very stylized, and he's like, this is one of the greatest modern animated TV shows you'll ever see. So I may well go and give that a go.
Very striking look, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then on my underrated lists that we've not yet talked about, Bumblebee. That was the Bumblebee film from 2018.
Okay, what did I give it?
That had a 2.5 rating.
Yep, non-regretful watch.
Okay.
You're saying it should be higher. I think it's miles better than any of those other stupid Michael Bay Transformers movies.
Okay, as long as that's your opinion, that's valid. Mad Max 2 in at just 2.5.
Never seen it before, so I had no nostalgia for it. Look, I wasn't expecting a visual sci-fi spectacular in terms of special effects, etc., or anything like that, and clearly you don't get that. But it probably does what it set out to do, but it just felt a little bit, I don't know, lacking in
maybe without any of the nostalgia attached to it. Maybe I can understand a lower score. Did you? I take it you've seen Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes, I have. That's on a rewatch thing, because I think I quite enjoyed it, but I don't know. My memory is so bad I wouldn't be able to tell you. Thank you.
Next up, Letterboxd. Starship Troopers 2-star.
Yep. Went in thinking this would probably be a 3.5, 4. Came out with a 2. I think all the satirical stuff is very good and works very well, but the movie is overly long. I think the following them on their career paths from, high school kids or whatever through to them being commanders and fighting bugs was a misstep. I didn't want that whole journey or the arc of those characters. I would have preferred it just to be,
more of a snapshot.
More of a snapshot rather than this whole arc of them. And surprised me that I ranked it so low, to be fair.
Yeah, don't give me any of that.
Starship Troopers?
Nazis in space, baby. Military autocracy. What is it? Whatever it is. It's political, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the ultimate expression of the right wing.
I could be completely wrong. Is it Verhoeven? Is it Paul Verhoeven?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He had something to say.
He did RoboCop, did he?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Always has a kind of a
something to
poking the bear, typically at American society, to be honest, and he uses his films to kind of...
Yeah, and sort of some similar techniques in terms of sort of cutting to kind of those propaganda videos, adverts between the two films and that kind of thing.
Now,
RoboCop, something to
say. I haven't seen RoboCop in 20 years, so does that hold up?
I hadn't seen RoboCop until very recently.
Okay.
And the first one is just on its own plateau, definitely.
Right.
But you might be interested to know, Chief, that the director of Empire Strikes Back directed RoboCop 2.
Okay.
I don't know if that maybe adds a little bit of shine to see what else old Irvin Kershner produced.
Yeah, I think I have seen 2. I definitely haven't seen 3.
Right. Yeah, 3, you can check that one in at the door.
Don't have to worry about missing out there. Yeah.
Okay, and here's another one. Here's another one which won't surprise you. I actually thought the remake was okay.
As did I.
All right.
But I shared that opinion to my friends, and they practically disowned me. So
They are
maybe
no
I need
longer
to rewatch
friends.
it. Well, now that I've watched the first RoboCop film, and yes, it is good, it is gory, it has a great message, it is once again satirical in a very dark way, and as an adult, you get those layers. You definitely feel the message. So it's rewarding to rewatch. I would,
All right, I'll
definitely
give it a
get
go.
more from it than like a cool cybernetic cop shooting up the bad guys as you would as a child.
Yeah. Anything else, Funky Bunch, you got on your list?
Yeah, Sorry to Bother You in at 1.5, which
A
I
highly
watched and quite
touted,
enjoyed.
critically acclaimed smash. Did not enjoy the thing about horse people. Just weird and unnecessary. Obviously, it's there's a bigger statement and message being carried across here, but just not for me.
Didn't connect, but yeah, I thought it was good. I went into that one completely blind, not knowing what it was about, other than I thought it was some guy, doing cold calling,
Same,
whatever.
same, yeah.
Didn't know anything else about it, and it's just like, what? Where is this going? What the heck? Yeah, interesting. It's good to go into films knowing as little as possible.
Yeah, I had a mate who would refuse to watch any trailers, refuse to read any blurbs, refuse to read the back of the DVD box or anything. All he wanted to know was, what's the title of the movie? Who's in it? So that's good, because you are completely surprised, because trailers obviously show you, and this is quite interesting actually, because when I watch some recent trailers, I'm seeing these are all the goddamn bits of the movie. You're showing me an abridged version of the whole movie. How is any of this a surprise? However, when I watch movies, the trailer has almost been expunged from my mind, and I don't pick up on, oh, they showed me that in the trailer. Oh, they showed me that in the trailer. So that's quite clever. Whether that's just me and my brain is just a little bit backwards, but trailers never seem to have affected me when I've watched the movie. But
good.
This guy who would consume nothing, obviously he's on a bit of a hide into nothing. So some movies will be amazing because he doesn't know the twists, but some movies he probably watched a lot of turkeys.
Yeah.
Chief, what's the future, buddy? What is the next Outta Timers challenge? Or phrased differently, which is the next hobby that the Chief will destroy?
We've recently quit Star Wars Battlefront. That has come to an end. No more of that. So, of course, as Ben mentioned when he did his live phone-in on last week's Talking Joe, if one man quits, the other man has to quit, because no one's playing that solo. So he, luckily it was a group decision between us to quit that. I don't know. He's not consuming much media this year, so it's difficult for me to ruin anything for him. As soon as I find out what he's into, I will latch onto that and try my best to submerge it and throttle it to death. But
Chief, didn't you get the inside track on that? Didn't he hit you up with all the new Marvel and Star Wars, like everything that's on the slate for streamable services?
Right.
The Disney Plus stuff. Didn't he share you all the reveals? Well, that's what he's going to be into, mate.
Yeah.
No guessing.
But whether or not I go into all those straight away as soon as they're out, I'm not sure. I'm heavily contented up this year because I'm trying to do my Judge Dredd reread. I have just passed over the 300 progs mark yesterday, which, if you factor in the progs, which there's 2,200 of, which are about 6 pages of Dredd per one, there's about 420 magazines, which is about 10 to 15 pages of Dredd, specials, annuals. You're looking at about, I'd say, 20,000 pages of Dredd for me to reread. And I've done about, 1,500 pages probably so far. So I'm about on course, I think.
Sounds like a chore, Chief.
On course to kill your love of 2018 and Judge Dredd by the end of the year.
This year, self-destruction. Obviously, I'm trying to do the splits as well. So that's
you've
something
gotten kind of deep.
Yeah.
That those splits are getting deeper and deeper, man. I actually try to do the splits myself.
Yeah.
See how close I come to where you are, and Yeah, man, you've made some progress.
I think
You've definitely got me beat.
I think I've got some limber hips, so hopefully just need to keep stretching and yeah, we'll see.
Don't
who
break
breaks
yourself,
first.
man.
Yeah. But apart from that,
you bastards have got me to do something, well, a little bit closer to home to Talking Joe, and that's actually. I'm
cutting you off. I'm cutting you off here. I watched a video of you doing a live unboxing. Is that what you're talking about?
Whatever. Yeah. So
I saw you unbox a live 6-inch classified Snake Eyes. Yeah,
guilty as charged.
There you go.
But I mean, a little bit closer to the comic content of Talking Joe. For the first time in my life, I am current on the Marvel/IDW Harmerverse G.I. Joe comic book series.
There you go.
Yeah, I suffered through Snake Hunt.
Well, we are, behind the curtain. This is the 23rd of January. Tomorrow, me and Funky Bunch will record the next episode of Talking Joe, which will cover episodes 8, 9, and 10 of Snake Hunt. Ooh. So,
and that's how the sausage is made, ladies and gentlemen.
So, I did read those issues. I will read them again tonight before we record.
Or look.
I remember
in the case of 10.
I remember when S-Jubbs gave the Death of Snake Eyes 0 out of 10, I think. And we could be treading for similar ground, my friend, when the chief ranks Snake Hunt.
Drama.
Yeah, it's the
Zero
worst
with a
G.I. Joe
bullet.
story I've ever read. But listen, that's still to come.
Barry just needs to stop taking requests, man. Someone puts it in a letters page somewhere. Can we have a story that has all the G.I. Joes? And he's like,
done.
I'm going to put them on a fucking bus.
Yeah, Joe's ride the bus. The other thing I'm into is we're going to cut off here because Mark's missus is going to get annoyed if he doesn't come for lunch soon. My missus is annoyed with me because I've been in the loft for too long. But I tell you what I'm into. I'm into watching bodybuilding documentaries at the moment. Yeah.
He's inspired to pump some iron.
No, I've got fascination.
Have you watched Pumping Iron?
With Arnie? Yeah, watch that. Yeah.
Oh my God, that line, the most quotable line in all of documentary filmmaking when he's on about, yeah, man, when you get the pump, the tight feeling in your muscles, it feels like I'm coming all the time.
Love Arnie, he's great.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was another time, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, the future governor of California.
Yep. Would be president if he could. Okay, fine. We all got to go. S-Jubbs, you've probably got drink to consume, probably, I imagine.
One division to consume, man.
Okay. Right. Good luck with
long
that.
Overdue. But we've been the Outta Timers.
We've been the Outta Timers and the Talking Joes, and we are out of time and Joes. So my thanks to my always regular co-host Funky Bunch, and my thanks to S-Jubb7 for joining us, even though he was an hour late.
Hour and a half.
Oh
my
late.
God. What's going on?
Sorry, guys. People, thanks for joining us.
Laters.
Peace.
There was a time way back in 2018, you remember. Two likely lads started something, it was a cold November. A chat, a talk, a conversation, childhood recaptured. A trip down memory lane and everyone was enraptured. You know the guys I'm talking about, it's surely Ben and Chiefy. A plan to launch a show that everyone could listen for free. G.I. Joe comics were the start of something truly special. The words they uttered were prophetic and time sentimental. Talking Joe. Comics, toys, cartoons, merch, we love you so. And we just won't ever stop. Talking Joe. Comics, Comics, toys, cartoons, merch, we love you so. And we just won't ever stop. Comics, reading comics, reading comics, reading comics. And then the time would come when Ben would up and leave the hot seat. The chief he called up, diagnostic, and the combo was sweet. From drinks to snacks to over-egging, lots of different puddings. Chief passed the torch to Jubbinator, can you smell what's cooking? Then lastly Funky Bunch and action figure fiasco. The show is hotter than a splash of super hot Tabasco. The show evolved and came to be a brightly shining beacon. Creative output bursting at the seams, we're never beaten. Talking Joe. Comics, toys, cartoons, merch, we love you so. And we just won't ever stop. Talking Joe. Comics, toys, cartoons, merch, we love you so. And we just won't ever stop. Comics, reading comics, reading comics, reading comics, reading comics. Talking Joe in the house. We're gonna close this out with a thank you to all the fans. We love you so. And we just won't ever stop.